Good evening. I'm John Jacobson, Chairman of HEAF's Board of Directors. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight for HEAF's virtual gala. HEAF is deeply grateful to all of tonight's honorees for supporting HEAF and the important work that we do with students throughout New York City. In particular, I want to thank John Collins, my fellow board member. John has been a board member since 2004. He was on the board when I first joined. For many of those years, he served as treasurer of HEAF, which I always think of as the hardest and most time-consuming job on the board. John's service as treasurer of HEAF included the period of the financial crisis during 2008 and 2009, and I honestly don't know what HEAF would have done without John's steady hand. In addition to being a thoughtful and engaged member of the board, John has also worked to forge a partnership between Morgan Stanley and HEAF. That partnership includes Morgan Stanley employees serving as mentors to HEAF students. It also includes HEAF students getting exposure to career opportunities through the Industry Immersion Program. Morgan Stanley even featured HEAF on their digital billboards in Times Square, literally putting HEAF's name up in lights on Broadway. Those of you who know John know that he's also a great business leader and a great dad. He's an extraordinary role model for the HEAF students and for all of us. So it's my profound privilege to be able to thank and congratulate John Collins for all that he does for HEAF. And it's also my privilege to be able to introduce John in conversation with Jourdan White. Jourdan is a HEAF alumnus, and he's also a colleague of John's at Morgan Stanley.
Thank you, Jake, for those kind remarks. It's a real honor to have served alongside you on the board for all these years and to be honored tonight at the gala, particularly given the great people who I'm co-honorees with, Adina and Vern. When they asked me what I wanted to do tonight, I thought it would be great to have a discussion with a HEAF alum so that you all can see firsthand what HEAF does. I'm thrilled to be joined by a distinguished HEAF alum, Jourdan White.
Thank you, John. It's great to be here, and congratulations on the honor. Truly
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you. So not only is Jourdan a proud HEAF alum, but he's also a colleague of mine here at Morgan Stanley. Jourdan joined, while I've been here most of my professional career, Jourdan joined in February, which coincidentally happened to be the month where HEAF was recognized by Morgan Stanley as our Lights on Broadway recipient, which every month we have a nonprofit that we recognize, and HEAF was that for February, which was the month that Jourdan started. Maybe, Jourdan, you could tell me a little bit about that specifically, and then just how it's been to work at a place
Absolutely.
that is a supporter of
Absolutely. Well, it was purely coincidental. You know, when I joined the firm in February and I got that email from HEAF, I was shocked and just very happy to be a part of both organizations. You know, I came into the office in March, and as you mentioned, we did do the photo shoot. So I was really honored to come down and see our, HEAF's name on Broadway right off of Times Square. That was really fantastic.
One of the reasons I've so dedicated to my role on the HEAF board and have been for such a long time is people such as yourself. I think it's great to see an organization which takes people starting in middle school, often very driven young kids, but without a lot of exposure outside of school and family, and to provide them all of these experiences, and then to see those students as they move through high school and are getting ready to go to college, and then ultimately when we have college decision day and you see the outcome of all that work, is incredibly rewarding to see the impact of the faculty and the staff on that group and what they do. Maybe you could talk a little bit about your own journey at HEAF and how that translated into your own academic and professional journey.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as you mentioned, HEAF kind of targets us when we're in middle school. I was a little bit of a late bloomer. I got started probably around my freshman year of high school, actually. And I credit my mother as an educator, so she was just very involved in having me and my siblings in programs. And programs like HEAF were fantastic guardrails, is what I would call it. It provided me exposure, as you mentioned, to things that I wouldn't necessarily been exposed to, but it also gave me a place to be, a place where I could be comfortable, where I could be safe and kind of out of trouble, if you will. And that's very important, especially as a city kid growing up. You have a lot of free time. You can find yourself getting into some mischievous situations. So that was very important for me. Like any other kid, I went kicking and screaming pretty begrudgingly, didn't necessarily see the benefit. But as I've gotten older, in hindsight, I see how HEAF has been instrumental in my time, whether it was taking college tours, to Colgate or Cornell, which is where I ended up going, or having a mentor to help me with the college application process. I must have taken the SAT 3 times before I took the actual SAT, and I was over it. By the time I was ready to sit down for the proper test, I was just really, really over it. But it's resources like that and programs like that that really help to lay out the path for me moving forward. And they've given me connections and friends and networks that I cherish even to this day. My involvement with HEAF, the day-to-day, I've met some amazing people, and obviously we deal a lot with the volunteers and the staff, and they do tremendous work for us in the community. But we really don't see the board much, or what happens behind the scenes and how an organization scales up and really gets going. But, I really got exposed to that side, and now being at Morgan Stanley and kind of seeing how I'm in my specific business unit, but seeing how we scale up to become one of the largest banks in the world and how we function is really tremendous. So I tip my hat to you and the rest of the board for the work that you guys do, because without you guys, it wouldn't have trickled down to us. So I really appreciate that.
Having been on the board for almost 20 years, I've certainly seen HEAF continue to evolve and I think continue to serve more kids and serve them incredibly effectively. The way that I've always thought about the board and why I got involved initially was I've always been interested in education going back to when I was in college. And, I think HEAF is an organization that provides a lot of what I think many of us may take for granted in terms of exposure outside of the school day. And the results speak for themselves. I think nearly virtually 100% of HEAF students go on to 4-year colleges, and well over 80% of those graduate on time, which when compared to the broader stats for the communities that HEAF serves, well exceed what is typical. And so it's a model that works, it's a model that is time honored, and even in a small part, as a board member, I've been proud to be associated with it and to see the results.
Not every kid is going to receive the message, but some kids will, and, kind of just continuing to push forward. And, I'm a product of that environment. So, moving forward, HEAF could continue to do things like that. And also with the corporate sponsorships and the corporate immersion programs, I see that all the time where kids are exposed to Fortune 500 companies, different CEOs or people in the C-suite or higher ups, and really get exposure on what it means to be a professional in different spaces, and seeing that they really truly can exist in that space themselves.
One of the things I really like about HEAF is it works alongside the school system to provide a fuller experience and more exposure to the students. And so the kids stay in the community, they work in the community, and I think provide examples, such as yourself, to people who thrive within that community. And the extra support that HEAF provides through college prep, test prep, college tours, international tours, gives kids an experience that is just really hard to replicate. The results speak for themselves. And I think, again, having just seen generation after generation of HEAF student go to college, we continue to support them through college, and see them come out of college is great, and makes the limited time that I spend, but time very well spent.
And one thing that you touched on that I kind of want to kind of reiterate is the fact that HEAF keeps kids in the community. I remember whether it's traveling or the college tours, but a lot of times we did community service projects, working within our local community, and that gave HEAF the exposure within the community to realize that, hey, there's this program right here in our neighborhood that's doing these things for our kids, and then the kids can walk around in their neighborhoods with their heads held high, knowing that they're doing something to make their community better, and they're leading by example. Ultimately, John, I think that HEAF needs business leaders such as yourself that come from diverse backgrounds, be it professionally or personally, because it continues to really build HEAF as a brand, and you have your own thoughts and opinions that help to make the organization better as a whole. So I thank you for your time, and thank you for all your service over these last couple of years. Not couple, many years, several years, and your continued service. It's truly an honor to now work with you and sit here and have the opportunity to have this discussion. But moving forward, I look forward to seeing how HEAF continues to grow and how you continue to grow on your own path. So congratulations on the honor tonight. It's been a pleasure and truly an honor.
Well, thank you, and it's an honor to meet someone. We tend to see the work that we do through college. We see people get out of college. Now to work with a HEAF alum is a huge honor. You represent the organization phenomenally. I'm thrilled to hear that you remain involved. I think the current HEAF students can benefit from your experience and example. And I look forward to working together both in the HEAF capacity and professional capacity for years to come.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you, John.